Hillary Clinton at Barack Obama's convention. A night for healing old wounds as she asks her many supporters to back the man who defeated her.
Campaign 08, the Democratic National Convention. From Denver, here is Katie Couric.
And good evening, everyone. This is Hillary Clinton's night at the convention, though not the night she had planned on. She was hoping to be here on Thursday, accepting the presidential nomination, but it did not work out that way. Instead, she'll be addressing the convention and a national television audience tonight, calling on her supporters to vote for Barack Obama. And those supporters tonight will have a chance to acknowledge Senator Clinton's remarkable achievement, coming closer to the presidency than any woman in history, putting 18 million cracks in the glass ceiling, as she put it, but also opening the door for generations of women to come. And by the way, she'll be speaking on the 88th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. Now, earlier this evening, in fact, just moments ago, the convention heard the keynote address by Mark Warner, the former governor of Virginia. Bob Schieffer is at the podium tonight where Mark Warner will be walking,
right here,
and
Katie.
in fact, he's talking to him right now. Bob?
All right, Governor. Well, we heard the speech. It was a very high-minded, it was a very lofty, a very thoughtful speech. But normally, keynote speeches at conventions like this, you get a lot of red meat. I didn't hear a lot of that.
Listen, I think we laid out the choice very clear. We can either continue 4 more years, policies that were stuck in the past, or this country can turn the page. And Barack Obama understands the challenges and how we can turn these challenges, like an energy plan, health care, education, into opportunities. I think the country's ready to do that, but if we're going to do it, we're going to need to forge some bipartisan collaboration to get it done. And I think that's the kind of message that will win this election.
Well, is this going to be a different approach? I mean, isn't somebody going to have to really draw some contrast with the Republicans?
I think the contrast for most American people is pretty clear. Do we want more of the same? Policies that are stuck in the past, or do we want to really march into this 21st century, take these problems on the way America always has at moments of great challenge? I think we can do it. It's going to take all of us together. It's going to take finding that common ground that I think is where Americans are looking at. If they wanted more of the same, they've got a candidate that is a candidate from Washington. We've got a candidate that's about change.
Let me ask you this. Hillary Clinton speaks tonight. We'll hear from her husband tomorrow night. We're told that some Democrats are wondering, is this going to be too many Clintons? Is Obama letting this convention get away from him?
You know, I don't think so. I think that we've got a case where Hillary Clinton touched the lives of millions of Americans, and I think she will rally her supporters to support this ticket, because, you know, too much is at stake. We've got the question of, you know, where does America stand in the 21st century? You know, as I said, China's not going to settle for the silver. You know, we've got to go ahead and take that on, be competitive, get this country back on the right path. Barack Obama's the guy to do it.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Governor. Thank you. Katie?
All right, Bob Schieffer, former Governor Mark Warner, thank you so much to both of you. And in a night that focused on the struggling economy, even though Mark Warner didn't, speaker after speaker stepped up the Democratic attack on John McCain.
John McCain voted with the administration 95% of the time. So if he's the answer, the question must be ridiculous.
The only thing green in John McCain's energy plans are the billions of dollars he's promising in more tax cuts to oil companies.
George Bush has put the middle class in a hole, and John McCain has a plan to keep digging that hole with George Bush's shovel.
John McCain is right. He doesn't understand the economy as well as he should.
Up with Obama, Biden! Wake up, America! Wake up, America! Wake up, America!
Meanwhile, as we mentioned, this really is Hillary Clinton's night. She is the featured speaker here, and everyone is waiting with bated breath. Lisa Caputo was Hillary Clinton's press secretary when she was First Lady. Lisa, good to see you.
Katie.
So you are a former staff member and still considered a good friend of Hillary Clinton's. Have you spoken with her, and how is she doing?
She's actually doing remarkably well for somebody who went through such a grueling 18-month effort. She's exhausted. but she's been campaigning for the past 2 months for Obama, and she's mentally in a really good place, Katie. I mean, I think probably most people would be surprised, sort of the buildup and then the disappointment, but she's really got her head mentally wrapped around this, and she's such a fighter. And as she was working on the speech today, she's in such the right frame of mind to come out here and strike the right tone and give a call to action to her supporters. You can't sit on the sidelines in this race. You've got to get behind Obama just as much as you were behind me.
She may be in a good place now, Lisa, but certainly she must have been severely disappointed. Did you speak to her shortly after she dropped out, and can you tell us what her frame of mind was and how she was really evaluating what had happened to her?
Sure. I mean, I think I did talk to her, and she was, of course, disappointed. It was an enormous letdown, absolutely enormous, as you can well imagine. But she has been working through kind of what happened, going through the phases of what went wrong, what could I have done differently, kind of reassessing.
What does she blame it on, if anything, or what does she think was the biggest mistake made in her campaign?
I think she's still sorting through that. I can't tell you that she would pinpoint it to one exact issue, per se, or one exact tactic. I think that there's no question she would readily admit that they should not have foregone the caucus states, and they put all of their marbles into Super Tuesday and into the air wars. And I think she would readily admit that not building up a field organization and not going into the caucus states was a mistake.
And what's your sense of the tension between the Obama camp and the Clinton camp? Not the candidate herself, but the chasm that we've heard about so much during this convention.
I honestly have to tell you, Katie, I was with a lot of the Clinton staff this afternoon, and I think this is being built up to be much more than it really is. They've had a lot of extensive discussions over the past couple of months. David Axelrod actually late today read Senator Clinton's speech and was very pleased with it. So I think people are making much more of this than there really is here. And I think what you're going to see happen tonight is she's going to come out here and she's going to come out swinging for the candidate.
All right, Lisa Caputo. Lisa, thanks so much for coming by. Good to see you. Meanwhile, our national correspondent Byron Pitts is with the West Virginia delegation tonight. Byron?
Hi, Katie. We're with Shelby Leary, from a delegate from Morgantown, West Virginia. Mrs. Leary, as we stand here right now at this moment, at this hour, are you prepared yet to support Barack Obama?
No.
You're still a Hillary Clinton?
I'm still a Hillary Clinton delegate.
What do you need to hear from her tonight to change your mind?
I need to hear from her that she will now support Barack Obama, that she will get out and use all of her energy to help him get elected, but also to tell us what she knows about Barack Obama. I want to know about him.
So if she doesn't make it clear to you tonight it's okay to support Barack Obama, you still won't support him?
No.
For those Obama Democrats who say she lost, it's time to get over it.
I believe that she got an awful lot of votes, and I don't think she exactly lost. West Virginia, she won 3-1, and we worked hard.
What do your neighbors and friends back in Morgantown say about Barack Obama?
My neighbors say, and it was a lot of hurt there over losing, because so many worked for Hillary and got out and put up signs, and so there was a lot of hurt there. And the feeling was right afterwards, well, I'm not going to support Barack. But we're Democrats, I think, we'll come together. I've learned more about Barack Obama since I've been here than I've known the whole time.
All right, Ms. Leary, thank you so much.
Yes.
So, Katie, the senator has plenty to accomplish tonight with her speech. Back to you.
That's right. We just heard what Shelby Leary of West Virginia wants to hear from Hillary Clinton when she speaks before this convention tonight. But the number 2 finishers for the nomination don't always do much to help the number 1 person. Jeff Greenfield is our senior political correspondent. Jeff, you're with the New Mexico delegation, is that right?
Yes, and you can say that Barack Obama really needs something from Hillary Clinton. He needs her to wake up this hall after a speech that was not only not red meat by former Governor Warner, but more like tofu with sprouts. And more important, he needs Hillary Clinton to sharply say why John McCain, who's been using her in ads as though she was his running mate, is not representative of what she stands for. But you're right, Katie, there's a broader problem here. I mean, what do you say to a convention that isn't going to give you the nomination you wanted? Well, it often turns out that what you say is not a speech about what happened, but about what you want to happen next. When President Gerald Ford invited Ronald Reagan to speak to the delegates who had narrowly defeated him, Reagan offered perfunctory support for Ford and a stark warning about the next generation.
Whether they have the freedoms that we have known up until now will depend on what we do here.
Ford blamed that speech in part for his narrow loss to Carter, but it positioned Reagan to win the nomination and the White House 4 years later.
A few hours ago, this campaign came to an end.
When Ted Kennedy narrowly lost to Jimmy Carter in 1980, his speech was a ringing endorsement of liberalism that did little to bring his backers over to Carter's side.
And the dream shall never die.
Carter lost to Reagan in a landslide.
John McCain!
And sometimes you can use your speech to build bridges to your opponents within the party. 4 years after John McCain lost a bruising primary fight to George W. Bush, he won conservative hearts with a scornful attack on the left-wing filmmaker Michael Moore.
A disingenuous filmmaker who would have us believe that Saddam's Iraq was an oasis of peace.
Part of her speech will be thinking, what am I going to be able to do in 2012? If Obama loses, God forbid, how will I be able to use this speech as a wedge?
But whatever her intentions, Senator Clinton knows full well that her hopes for the future rest in endearing herself to this Democratic convention and to the Obama Democrats. Katie, this is a very tricky tightrope she'll be walking tonight.
All right, we'll all be watching. Jeff Greenfield, thanks so much, Jeff. CBS's News live coverage of the 45th Democratic National Convention will continue in a moment. And after the break, we'll be talking to the man who described himself to me as the skunk at the garden party, Mitt Romney. And we'll get his take on things here in Denver.
Barack Obama.
Just 4 years ago, his name was unfamiliar to most Americans.
They would give me an African name, Barack. Or blessed.
But his compelling personal story.
My father was a foreign student, born and raised in a small village in Kenya.
And soaring rhetoric.
Hope. Hope in the face of difficulty. Hope in the face of uncertainty. The audacity of hope.
Grabbed the attention of everyone who watched 4 years ago.
Well, it might surprise a lot of people that ExxonMobil would be interested in lithium-ion battery technology applied to hybrid electric vehicles. Our new battery separator film is a true breakthrough that's going to enable the deployment of more hybrid vehicles faster. This means a tremendous reduction in greenhouse gases, the equivalent of removing millions of cars from the road. I think this is the most important project that I've worked on in my career.
Here's something to celebrate, a new Applebee's neighborhood value. Endless favorites starting at $9.99. Choose from sweet and meaty riblets, panko-crusted shrimp, or golden delicious chicken tenders. Your choice, all you can eat, starting at $9.99. Be ashamed not to have a cold beer with that. It's an all-you-can-eat dinner, but you gotta hurry. Endless riblets, shrimp, or chicken tenders, starting at $9.99. Only at Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood.
While your kids had the summer off, I did some homework for you.
Chris Moon, Burlington Coat Factory kids buyer.
I traveled far and wide, hunted down the latest fashions for kids, saw some wild things, and came back with the most popular looks out there. Clothes they'll look great in at prices that will blow you away. So you're happy, they're happy. Seriously, how often does that happen?
Find all the latest looks for up to 60% less than department stores. Burlington Coat Factory.
This season's big look, it's Lash Blast. For big, bold, look-at-me lashes. The big brush towers over the leading brush. Plus, it has 50% more bristles to coax every lash up, out, and away. It's Lash Blast from Easy Breezy Beautiful CoverGirl.
It's time for everyone to seize power. The power to clean tooth by tooth and reduce up to twice as much plaque as a regular manual brush. The power to demand a dentist-like smooth, clean feeling every day. Power to the people. Oral-B.
An unprecedented 3-network event to fight our greatest enemy.
Stand up to cancer.
Stand Up to Cancer. Live Friday, September 5th at 8/7 Central.
He's smiling now.
TV psychic Patrick Jane couldn't really speak to the dead.
There is no other side.
But as an investigator, he can solve their murders.
Did you kill your daughter?
Never given up.
It's not as bad as it looks.
The Mentalist, CBS Tuesdays this fall.
And we're back at the Democratic Convention here in Denver. That's right, the Democratic Convention. So what is Mitt Romney doing here? Governor, maybe you can answer that question.
Well, I'm here to talk about facts and policies. This Democratic Convention is fun to attend. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance, more rhetoric than I'm used to, and very few specifics. And so I'm making sure that there's a discussion of the issues and the policies that affect Americans. And I think it's those issues and policies that are accounting for the fact that John McCain is doing so well in people's estimation.
Senator McCain continued his attacks on Barack Obama today. He called him inexperienced on national security at the American Legion Convention in Phoenix. Is there a risk that this negative tone will ultimately hurt McCain's brand as a different kind of politician?
Well, I think it's Barack Obama that's been talking about a different kind of politician, and I think actually the description of Barack Obama as someone who is inexperienced is something which Hillary Clinton has said and something which his running mate has said. So his lack of experience, his running mate actually said, disqualifies him to be president of the United States. This was, of course, during the primary campaign. That's pretty tough language. We all disagree with the other people in a primary, but to say that your candidate is disqualified because of his lack of experience is really quite a statement.
Well, certainly they're going to roll the videotape if you're selected as McCain's VP of plenty of things that you said that were certainly not very complimentary of him.
There's no question that all 10 or so of the Republican candidates who stood on the debate stage criticized one another, pointed out the differences on issues that we had and have in some cases. But we always said that John McCain was a national hero we respected and was in all ways qualified to be president of the United States. That's a very different statement than Hillary Clinton and that Joe Biden said about Barack Obama. And I think the American people are going to make their own assessment. Is Barack Obama ready to be president? Does he understand how the economy works? Does he understand the threats that we face around the world? And is he prepared to deal with them in a critical and challenging world?
And Governor Romney, you've been dispatched to Denver to be the GOP attack dog here, if you will, as someone who's being strongly considered to be John McCain's vice presidential choice. Isn't that a little demeaning?
You know, first, I'm not going to categorize myself as an attack dog. We got a lot of Republicans coming to talk about issues here and pointing out differences between ourselves and the Democrats. And secondly, I got no comment about the vice presidential sweepstakes. That's something John McCain will decide on his own. I think he'll go with his instincts. They've proved well in the past.
All right, Governor Mitt Romney. Governor Romney, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thanks, Katie. Good to be with you.
Meanwhile, a funny thing happened to me on the way to the Pepsi Center earlier today when I was at a security checkpoint. I ran into the man who was the Democratic nominee 20 years ago, Michael Dukakis. So we grabbed our handheld camera and started rolling. I asked him if he thought the Democrats were hitting John McCain hard enough.
I'll tell you, I think you got to make it a character issue on the guy that you're running against. Here was McCain, who said he wanted to run a high-minded campaign. First thing he does is hire a disciple of Karl Rove, this guy Schmidt, to run his campaign, and we're getting a typical Karl Rove campaign. I think you got to make that an issue. This is McCain's responsibility.
At the same time, you know, some of their tactics seem to be working, right?
Well, temporarily, but let me say this: Obama and Biden didn't fall off the Christmas tree yesterday. I mean, they know what's hitting them, and they know what's going to hit them, and I think they're ready for this. At the same time, we've got to organize at the precinct level like we've never organized before. Every state, every precinct, we've got 200,000 of them, every one of them with a precinct captain. We do that, we're going to win this thing.
Yeah, because the Republicans have really out-organized the Democrats for many years, but it seems like this year's different.
Well, they have nothing in the field. You know, very dispirited people are down. They ought to be. I mean, we've had 8 years of, I think, the worst national administration in my lifetime. But that doesn't mean you're going to win it automatically. You've got to be down there in those precincts knocking on those doors.
When you're here in Denver and you see all this hoopla, do you ever wonder, gee, what if?
Look, I owe the American people an apology. If I'd beaten the old man, you'd have never heard of the kid, and we wouldn't be in this mess. So it's all my fault, and I feel that very, very strongly. So this is an important election for us, let me tell you.
Joe Trippi is a Democratic strategist. Dan Bartlett, a former communications director for President Bush. And Dan's another party crasher here in Denver. Ouch, Dan, that was pretty harsh, but what do you think about Michael Dukakis basically apologizing to the American people for producing a presidency, a George W. Bush presidency?
Well, Katie, pardon me while I wipe my tear. I mean, come on. I think the irony here really is that it's Bill Clinton who, in many respects, made a George W. Bush presidency possible in the first place. And now we sit here this week, and the Clintons again can play the spoiler role and maybe cause John McCain to win the presidency. So, with all due respect to Mr. Dukakis, God bless the Clintons. They are the great story here this week, and they may be the best story for John McCain.
Well, that's a great segue to some pictures I understand we have right now. They're pictures of former President Bill Clinton here at the Pepsi Center in Denver. He was just shaking some hands. Obviously, he's here to hear his wife, Hillary Clinton, speak. President Clinton, meanwhile, will be speaking tomorrow night at this convention. Some have wondered why the Democrats are giving the Clintons 2 slots, and that will basically keep this story alive. So, Joe Trippi, let me ask you about that. Was that a mistake?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you're going to have the Clintons that are standing in the party, and they're going to bring this. I think most delegates here think they'll help bring the party together. I want to talk a little bit about the Dukakis stuff if we can. 1988 was the first real test case where the Republican attack machine went out and defined a son of Greek immigrant family, third-generation American, as elite, aloof, and out of touch. And what happened was you had a Yale skull and bones Republican who owned a house in Kenny Buckport become president. Now they're doing that same attack on Obama.
Is it working, Joe?
I think so. They've been pounding him for the last 2 or 3 weeks as out of touch, aloof, not one of us. Democrats here want to see some fight back. They're hoping to get that out of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden tomorrow, and Bill Clinton.
All right. Joe Trippi and Dan Bartlett will be talking to you a little bit later on. Thanks, gentlemen. And as we wait for Senator Hillary Clinton, we're going to take a short break. Our convention coverage will continue in just a moment.
What's essential to American life comes from people who work in American chemistry. AmericanChemistry.com. Essential.
Now's a great time to do something smart with your money, like spend less of it at Hyundai's Dollars and Cents sales event. Now until September 2nd, get up to $3,500 cash back on our 08 Veracruz, Santa Fe, and Tucson with up to 25 miles per gallon. The Santa Fe was named one of the 10 most fuel-efficient 3-row SUVs, and it's thousands less than the Ford Edge. Come see why great fuel economy and America's best warranty make Hyundai the smartest choice of the summer. Right now, get a 2008 Santa Fe with up to $3,500 cash back.
Bertram Pincus crossed over to the other side.
Did anything unusual happen during my procedure?
You died. How long? 7 minutes?
A bit less.
And he didn't come back alone.
You got a sec? New York is lousy with ghosts.
On September 19th, he may not like them.
Why are you dressed like that? Were you a maitre d'? You wear what you died in. At least they look nice.
But he's the only one who can help them.
You did have a lot of unfinished business, which is why we're still here. Is this a bad time?
Ghost Town, rated PG-13.
Great hairstyles. Amazing hair color. The work of an artist. Your stylist. Paul Mitchell, The Color. Created and used by the finest hairstylist in the world. You don't go to a drugstore or supermarket to get your hair cut. Why rely on a drugstore or supermarket for your hair color?
Treat yourself
Protect your hair.
and trust your stylist.
Only your salon guarantees the real Paul Mitchell.
Tonight, Dave's got gold medalist Brian Clay with a special decathlon on 53rd Street.
Don't try that at home.
Plus, Don Cheadle, the top 10 things overheard at the Democratic Convention.
Check it out, Bill Clinton and John Edwards are hitting on the same woman.
This convention report, and Dave's son, Harry. Only tonight, then catch Craig.
That's just the sweetest girl in the world. We're made for each other.
Meet the teams of the new Amazing Race.
Amazing Race is the ultimate game.
Season premiere CBS Sunday, September 28th.
And we're back now from Denver. Ed Rendell is the governor of Pennsylvania and was an early supporter of Hillary Clinton. The governor spoke here earlier this evening, and he had some harsh words for Senator McCain. Good to see you, Governor.
How are you?
You know, I know you were a very strong supporter, a very enthusiastic backer of Hillary Clinton. How disappointed are you, Governor, that she is not the nominee?
Well, I'm disappointed. I thought Hillary would have made a great, great president. But that disappointment is tempered by the fact that I think Barack Obama's going to be a terrific leader, too. It's time for us to move on, all of us Hillary supporters, and she's going to tell us that tonight loud and clear.
Now, earlier we spoke about how the Republicans have been relatively successful, actually quite successful, in portraying their Democratic opponents, for example, Dukakis, Gore, and Kerry, as kind of wimpy and out of touch. Do you fear they're attempting the same thing with Barack Obama?
I think they are, but I think Barack Obama is going to begin to dispel that notion Thursday. Just like Michelle Obama dispelled some notions Monday, Hillary Clinton's going to dispel some notions tonight. I think Barack Obama is going to come out smoking, paint a vision for this country, and not take it anymore. They're lying about his tax plan. Unless you make $250,000, he's not going to raise your taxes, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to cut them.
But Governor, you yourself, you were quoted by the Washington Post today saying Obama, quote, isn't exactly the easiest guy in the world to identify. I'm sure the Obama campaign wasn't that pleased hearing you say that.
Well, they should have listened to the rest of the interview. I said he's going to be one of the great visionary leaders of America. But look, Barack Obama's got to sell his case. We love Joe Biden. In Pennsylvania, Joe's beloved.
He's considered the third senator of
Absolutely.
Pennsylvania.
He's going to be a great salesman for us in Pennsylvania. He's going to make sure we carry the state. But our voters want to hear from Barack. They want to hear, does he have the fire in his belly? Is he tough enough? He is, he does. He's going to be a great president, but he's got to deliver that message. I can't do it. Joe Biden can't do it, but he's going to do a great job Thursday night.
Now, one very well-established Pennsylvania Democratic congressman said at this convention that if the election were held today in Pennsylvania, Barack Obama would lose because of race. What is your reaction to that?
Anybody who's going to vote against Barack Obama because he's African American is going to vote against him because he's a progressive who believes in things that person doesn't believe in. We have a Quinnipiac poll that came out today. We're 7 points ahead in that poll. That doesn't mean we're in. We've got our hands full, but we're going to win, and race is going to play a very, very little factor in that. Barack Obama does the things he has to do. People don't care. If you're going to give them economic relief, they don't care if you're black, white, green, or orange.
Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell. Governor, thanks so much for coming by.
My pleasure.
Good to see you.
We're
Thanks
right
very
next
much.
door.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, tomorrow Joe Biden will address the convention as he accepts the party's nomination for vice president. Today, he talked to delegates from Delaware, the state he's represented for more than 35 years, and he was overcome with emotion.
You know, this is a great honor. This is a great honor being nominated Vice President of the United States, and it is an honor. And I'm proud of it. I don't mean in any way to diminish it. But it pales in comparison to the honor that I've had representing you.
Little high. Is that good?
Senator Joseph Biden II. Joseph Biden III, also known as Beau, is Delaware's Attorney General, and of course Senator Biden's oldest son. Beau, I can't get to your dad, so you're the closest thing to him. What has his reaction been to his selection as the vice presidential candidate?
He's been sky high. Our whole family's sky high. We're ready for this campaign. My dad is. He can't wait to be part of electing Barack Obama the next president of the United States.
You know, he got quite emotional. I'm not sure if you were there when he spoke before the Delaware convention earlier today. And he talked a little bit about the tragedies and the tough times he's faced in his life. And, you know, one of the toughest times, clearly, was when he lost your mom, his first wife, and your little sister in a drunk driving accident. Drunk driver killed them. You were in the car with your brother, but you all were badly hurt but survived. He's also gone through a lot of challenges and disappointments since. None, of course, as devastating as that. But where does he get his resilience and strength?
Well, you know, look, it was an accident that a lot of families go through, a tragedy that many families experience. And his strength is in his faith, it is in family. And the reason he got emotional, the reason I got emotional, I was there, is because these are the Delaware Democrats, first time we've been with them, that are our family. They were there for the good times, the bad times. They've embraced our family from 1972 forward. And it was an emotional experience to share with them out here in Denver with my dad about to be the nominee for vice president. But, you know, what we went through as a family is no different than with thousands of families. I don't know of a family, Katie, that doesn't have some tragedy in their lives. So we're no different. The difference for us is, and the good thing is, that we had a dad like my dad who, you know, one of two things happens. Either families get closer together or they get farther apart. We got closer together because of my dad.
Meanwhile, if your father and Barack Obama are successful, there's speculation that you will attempt or run for his Senate seat. Is that true?
I'm focused on three things: being the best dad I can be, being the best Attorney General of Delaware I can be, and doing everything I can to elect Barack Obama the next President of the United States.
Now, you may be deployed shortly to a war zone. What can you tell us about that? I know you don't want to go to any specific details, but, you know, what does it mean for your father to be in this role? He's always been a foreign policy expert, but, I mean, does it have particular resonance now?
You ask him, I think it probably does. Look, I'm in the Delaware Army National Guard. I'm very proud of it. Been doing it for 6 years. I can't really talk about it beyond that. My mom and dad are going through something that many moms and dads around this country during the last 7 or so years have gone through, and they're experiencing the same emotions. But again, no different than any other family in this country.
Well, Beau Biden, thanks for coming by. Tell your father we said congratulations. Tell him to stop by the platform.
I will.
So we can sit down and interview him about this exciting new chapter in his life.
Thanks for the opportunity, Katie.
Thank you very much, Beau. And coming up next, Hillary Clinton speaks. Our coverage of the Democratic Convention will continue right after this. No, it's fine.
Everything that Fred Astaire did, she just did it backwards and in high heels.
Silver-haired Texas State Treasurer Ann Richards burst onto the national stage in 1988 at the Democratic Convention in Atlanta. She delivered the keynote address with a biting wit and a Texas twang.
Poor George. He can't help it. He was born with a silver foot in his mouth.
Dave's got Don Cheadle, Biff's Convention Report, and gold medalist Brian Clay, all new tonight.
End of summer celebration or anytime, visit Vons for inspiration and great savings. Vons, ingredients for life.
Hey, honey.
Hey.
What are you up to?
Just managing the kids' cell phones. To see if Owen does well in math, we give him more minutes. And if Sarah makes honors, we give her more minutes or texts.
So, what about subtracting minutes? Can we do that too?
No worries.
We are so in control.
Introducing Family Allowances, only from T-Mobile. Now you can truly manage your kids' minutes and texts. T-Mobile, stick together.
Paul Majors and Laura Diaz, weeknights at 5 and 11 on CBS 2 News.
Good evening, everyone, again from Denver. We're coming up on the main event of this evening, an address by Hillary Clinton. It will follow a film tribute to the senator, and then she'll be introduced by her daughter, Chelsea. As we mentioned, former President Bill Clinton is here in the Pepsi Center to watch her speak. He'll be addressing the convention tomorrow night. Now we have a video, an excerpt of the video tribute that will be played before Senator Clinton addresses the convention hall here in Denver. Actually, we'll have that in just a moment. But first, let's go to Jeff Greenfield. Jeff, what does Senator Clinton need to do tonight?
The first thing is very quickly, very unequivocally say Barack Obama is my candidate for president, and for all of you who supported me, he has to be your candidate for president. And then she has to lay out in as clear a way as she can why John McCain's attempt to say that Hillary Clinton really likes him better than he likes Barack Obama is false, and why a John McCain presidency would violate all the things he believes in. There are still plenty of Clinton supporters who are on the fence. Some have already said they're going to go for McCain, and she has got not only to get them back, but she has got to cast Barack Obama as the logical person to carry on what she and her followers want to do. Katie?
Bob Schieffer, are you surprised that Hillary Clinton, as we're watching Bill Clinton clearly enjoying the festivities here tonight, but are you surprised that Hillary Clinton is really the first person to come out as the real attack dog against John McCain, Bob?
Yes, I really am surprised by that, and I think she is going to be the one that's going to kind of lay it on the line. You know, Katie, today I was talking to Al Fromm, who heads the Democratic Leadership Council. He reminded me of something that Gillis Long, a former congressman from Louisiana, used to say. Gillis Long used to say, Democrats have to have the compassion to lead, and they have to have the toughness to govern. He said people always believe that we have the compassion. We have to show them that we're tough enough to do it. And I think in a broad sense, that's what both Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama have to do at this convention. Show America that they are tough enough to govern.
Meanwhile, Jeff, as you know, that some recent polls are showing that the number of Hillary Clinton supporters who are supporting or backing John McCain has actually increased since June. Why do you think that's the case, and can that be reversed?
I think the McCain campaign has been very effective in trying to say, as you folks discussed earlier, that Barack Obama is another in a line of Democrats who are out of the mainstream and do not understand you and really are not in keeping with what you believe. And I think it's the Obama campaign's challenge to say, wait a minute, you don't know who the real Barack Obama is. But clearly the McCain campaign has gained some traction on that, Katie.
Let's take a moment, gentlemen, and listen to the film biography of Hillary Clinton's life.
She might one day have, or from teaching that daughter that she could be anything she wanted to be.
I wrote to NASA and said, well, how do you become an astronaut? And they did write back and said, well, we're not taking any women. Now, I couldn't have qualified anyway. There's no doubt about that. But isn't it great that we have seen women astronauts, women captains of shuttle missions, and everything else? What is it we want to do to secure the future for our young people?
She was able to play with the boys and yet sort of earn their respect.
People who worked with her feel, I think, a lot of respect and affection for her, and she unleashes people's energy.
We all do better when everybody has a chance to live up to his or her God-given potential.
Hillary's for families. She stands up for everybody.
I think it's so important for little girls to have someone to look up to.
She cares about Americans, first of all, and then she cares about the middle class.
Hillary Clinton's inspirational.
But what I really want to know is...
She's calm, she's cool, she's collected. It's almost like she's saying, bring it on, I can handle it.
If we work together, if we fight together, we will make history together! Do I really laugh like that?
Oh,
yeah,
well.
Right.
She has a great guffaw of a laugh.
I can't sing or carry a tune at all.
She doesn't sing well.
You don't want her to sing, ever.
We have our first serious female presidential candidate in Hillary Clinton.
She has been the leader on health care for children, for veterans. She's been the leader on education.
We respect her, we trust her.
Hillary Clinton is one tough cookie.
In this country, you can be anything you want to be. And that's what my mother told me.
Today, my mother and my grandmother seem a long way from that little girl on a train so many years ago. With each generation, we all go farther, grow stronger, reach higher, and hopefully never forget whose shoulders we're standing on. Today, my mom's dreams are not about her own life, but about the lives of all Americans.
Because for me, this is truly about what kind of future we're going to give to all of you. If we can blast 50 women into space, we will someday launch a woman into the White House. We weren't able to shatter that highest glass ceiling this time, thanks to you. It's got about 18 million cracks in it. I am absolutely honored. For everyone across America who's ever been counted out but refused to be knocked out, to the moms and dads who lifted their little girls and little boys on their shoulders and whispered in their ears, "See, you can be anything you want to be." To the young people, to the veterans, to everyone who has stumbled but stood right back up, who works hard and never gives up, this one is for you.
Okay, so she didn't become an astronaut, but she did reach for the stars, something she will always continue to do. And my grandmother and I are very proud that Hillary Rodham Clinton will be known here and around the world as the woman who dared to reach up and fight for the fundamental ideal that every child has the right to develop his or her own God-given potential. And that because of her, those 18 million cracks in that glass ceiling gave way, and what opened up was a whole new world of possibility for all of us.
A video tribute by her friends Harry Thomason and Linda Bloodworth Thomason, who produced that famous Man from Hope video about Bill Clinton. There, of course, is 28-year-old Chelsea Clinton, graduate of Stanford, notoriously media shy, but not tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to introduce my hero and my mother, Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton. Thank you. you all very much. I am so honored to be here tonight. No, I'm here tonight as a proud mother, as a proud Democrat, as a proud senator from New York, a proud American, and a proud supporter of Barack Obama. My friends, it is time to take back the country we love. And whether you voted for me or you voted for Barack, the time is now to unite as a single party with a single purpose. We are on the same team, and none of us can afford to sit on the sidelines. This is a fight for the future, and it's a fight we must win together. I haven't spent the past 35 years in the trenches advocating for children, campaigning for universal health care, helping parents balance work and family, and fighting for women's rights here at home and around the world, to see another Republican in the White House squander our promise of a country that really fulfills the hopes of our people. And you haven't worked so hard over the last 18 months or endured the last 8 years to suffer through more failed leadership. No way, no how, no McCain. Barack Obama is my candidate, and he must be our president. Tonight, I ask you to remember what a presidential election is really about. When the polls have closed and the ads are finally off the air, it comes down to you, the American people, and your lives and your children's futures. For me, it's been a privilege to meet you in your homes, your workplaces, and your communities. Your stories reminded me that every day America's greatness is bound up in the lives of the American people. Your hard work, your devotion to duty, your love for your children, and your determination to keep going, often in the face of enormous obstacles. You taught me so much, and you made me laugh, and yes, you even made me cry. You allowed me to become part of your lives, and you became part of mine. I will always remember the single mom who had adopted 2 kids with autism. She didn't have any health insurance, and she discovered she had cancer. But she greeted me with her bald head painted with my name on it and asked me to fight for health care for her and her children. I will always remember the young man in a Marine Corps t-shirt who waited months for medical care. And he said to me, "Take care of my buddies. A lot of them are still over there. And then, will you please take care of me?" And I will always remember the young boy who told me his mom worked for the minimum wage, that her employer had cut her hours. He said he just didn't know what his family was going to do. I will always be grateful to everyone from all 50 states, Puerto Rico, and the territories who joined our campaign on behalf of all those people left out and left behind by the Bush administration. To my supporters, to my champions, to my sisterhood of the traveling pantsuits, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you because you never gave in and you never gave up. And together we made history, and along the way, America lost 2 great Democratic champions who would have been here with us tonight. One of our finest young leaders, Arkansas Democratic Chair Bill Gwatney, who believed with all his heart that America and the South should be Democratic from top to bottom. And Congresswoman Stephanie Tubbs Jones, a dear friend to many of us, a loving mother, a courageous leader who never gave up her quest to make America fairer and smarter, stronger and better. Steadfast in her beliefs, a fighter of uncommon grace, she was an inspiration to me and to us all. Our heart goes out to Stephanie's son, Mervyn Jr., and Bill's wife, Rebecca, who traveled here to Denver to join this family of Democrats. You know, Bill Gwatney and Stephanie Tubbs Jones knew that after 8 years of George Bush, people are hurting at home, and our standing has eroded around the world. We have a lot of work ahead of us. Jobs lost, houses gone, falling wages, rising prices, the Supreme Court in a right-wing headlock, and our government in partisan gridlock. The biggest deficit in our nation's history. Money borrowed from the Chinese to buy oil from the Saudis. Putin in Georgia, Iran and Iraq. I ran for president to renew the promise of America, to rebuild the middle class and sustain the American dream, to provide opportunity to those who are willing to work hard for it and have that work rewarded, so they could save for college, a home and retirement, afford gas and groceries, and have a little left over each month. To promote a clean energy economy that will create millions of green-collar jobs, to create a healthcare system that is universal, high quality, and affordable, so that every single parent knows their children will be taken care of. We want to create a world-class education system, and make college affordable again. To fight for an America that is defined by deep and meaningful equality, from civil rights to labor rights, from women's rights to gay rights, from ending discrimination to promoting unionization, to providing help for the most important job there is, caring for our families, and to help every child live up to his or her God-given potential. To make America once again a nation of immigrants and of laws, to restore fiscal sanity to Washington and make our government an institution of the public good, not of private plunder. To restore America's standing in the world, to end the war in Iraq, bring our troops home with honor, care for our veterans, and give them the services they have earned. We will work for an America again that will join with our allies in confronting our shared challenges, from poverty and genocide to terrorism and global warming. Most of all, I ran to stand up for all those who have been invisible to their government for 8 long years. Those are the reasons I ran for president, and those are the reasons I support Barack Obama for president. I want you to ask yourselves, were you in this campaign just for me? Or were you in it for that young Marine and others like him? Were you in it for that mom struggling with cancer while raising her kids? Were you in it for that young boy and his mom surviving on the minimum wage? Were you in it for all the people in this country who feel invisible? We need leaders once again who can tap into that special blend of American confidence and optimism that has enabled generations before us to meet our toughest challenges. Leaders who can help us show ourselves and the world that with our ingenuity, creativity, and innovative spirit, there are no limits to what is possible in America. Now, this will not be easy. Progress never is. But it will be impossible if we don't fight to put a Democrat back into the White House. We need to elect Barack Obama because we need a president who understands that America can't compete in the global economy by padding the pockets of energy speculators while ignoring the workers whose jobs have been shipped overseas. We need a president who understands we can't solve the problems of global warming by giving windfall profits to the oil companies while ignoring opportunities to invest in the new technologies that will build a green economy. We need a president who understands that the genius of America has always depended on the strength and vitality of the middle class. Barack Obama began his career fighting for workers displaced by the global economy. He built his campaign on a fundamental belief that change in this country must start from the ground up, not the top down. And he knows that government must be about we the people, not we the favored few. And when Barack Obama is in the White House, he'll revitalize our economy, defend the working people of America, and meet the global challenges of our time. Democrats know how to do this. As I recall, we did it before with President Clinton and the Democrats. And if we do our part, we'll do it again with President Obama. Obama and the Democrats. Just think of what America will be as we transform our energy economy, create those millions of jobs, build a